right, hello everyone. Welcome you all to the style session. It's a wonderful evening in California. Great to see you all. And so-called Tamil Youth Leadership and Entrepreneurship. It's a youth empowerment initiative from so-called Tamil, a non-profit organization. It's amazing to see so many students joining the style session today. Myself, Saravanan, and also we have Mr. Prabhu. We are the coordinators of the style program. As you know, style conducts various programs and workshops for our students community in entrepreneurship, leadership, volunteering opportunities, college admissions and career opportunities, and public speaking, and so many STEM areas as well. And on behalf of Style, the SoCal team, and the entire organization, I welcome you all to this wonderful session. College admissions is a topic which is, very, very dynamic and changing at fast pace, right? So the entire students and parents community is a bit nervous about how to catch up with all the changes happening in the colleges and the admissions. Every year they change the process. And so the idea of this session is to have a panel discussion, and the panel discussion should have two different parts. I mean, two major segments. One is the set of students who completed their high school and recently got admitted into colleges. So they are in freshmen in colleges. And the other side, we have junior and also seniors in the high school. So these two panel of students are going to discuss different areas. How to what are the challenges they faced in the college admissions, and how to ace the standardized tests, and how did they navigate through so many challenges, like social challenges, and how did they prepare for their essay, and so many areas they're going to talk about. And let's get started. Let's move on to the agenda. So introduction and housekeeping, I'm doing that right now. And the panel introduction and welcome address, Mr. Prabhu Ishwaran, who's the other coordinator for the style program, will be doing that. And then we are going to hand over it to the panel of 6 students. And they are going to, the interviewers and the interviewee will have a wonderful discussion, and you can also join them. And then we are going to have a question and answer section, and then the vote of thanks. All right, so very quickly, the housekeeping instructions, as you all know, we'll be uploading this this session recording in our SoCal Tamil organization YouTube channel to benefit the students who can join, and also to refer back what and how we discussed, and to improve our quality of the sessions. And also, it's totally voluntary to show your video, and the participants, mostly the speakers, would be showing their video. And please mute yourself when you're not speaking, and please feel free to send your questions in the chat box, and we will be monitoring the chat box, and we'll have the Q&A at the end. And you all know that, right? So this most of our style sessions are open for everyone, and students, parents, and regardless of their age, they can join and have a perspective of what's happening here. And no part of this session should be taken as a prescriptive approach or prescriptive solution for your college applications. It's all the the perspective from the students who got admitted. So it's just a perspective. You should consider it that way, not as a prescriptive approach. And we have many parents here who are already experts, so please chime in to add more valuable insights to the discussion. That would be a great help to the overall session. And with that, let's move on to the welcome address and introduction of the students. I would like to call upon Mr. Prabhu, who is one of our style volunteer, to take it over.
Hello, everyone. Vanakkam. Welcome to this amazing session again on a perspective on college admissions. We have 3 amazing college freshmen here to share their experiences and perspectives on how to get into colleges and universities. First, we have Shruthi Leon, who is currently data science major freshman in UC-Irvine. She's the current member of UCI Women in Computer Science and UCI Hiking Club, and also a member of UCI Orientation Leader for incoming freshmen, summer 2023. She has maintained a high school stats of 4.3 weighted GPA, Her high school interests and activities include being in dance team and volunteering for Vishaalakshi Foundation. She's a proud alumni and graduated from the Los Angeles Tamil School, and she is an active participant in various tutoring and teaching programs, and also a member of Culver City Culver Talks. Her hobbies include dancing, trying new cuisines and food, meeting up new friends and listening to music, and she is residing with her parents in Culver City, California. Welcome, Shruthi.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Yes, next we have Rahul Mohan. Hello, Rahul. Welcome. He's a freshman in computer science and engineering in UCLA. He graduated from San Dimas High School and it maintained a GPA of 4.8. And he has taken multiple AP and honors classes during his high school years. He's been a part of the Math and Science Olympiad. His hobbies include tennis, rock climbing, and reading. He was a proud alumni of Brea Tamil Kalvi in Brea, and now he resides in San Dimas, California. Welcome again, Rahul.
Thank you for having me.
And joining us is Athappan. Welcome, Lakshman. He is currently a neuroscience freshman in UC-Riverside. And he's a 6-time Orange County Science Fair topper winner. And once he won the California State Science Fair. His high school stats include 10 APs, 4.4 weighted GPA, 3 years varsity track. He's in the top 10 percentile of decile rank. He's in 3 clubs and Eagle Scout. He's currently in UCR Brain Game Center undergrad research in Springwater. He's planning to work this summer and train, and also he has a certification in emergency medical as an emergency medical technician. And he's planning to join the Highlander EMS in Springwater. His hobbies include exercise, running and basketball, and he lives in Laguna in California. And he's a graduate of Laguna Niguel High School last year. Welcome, Athappan.
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And joining us are 3 high school students who are excited to be here and asking all these questions to our panel members. First is Chinmay Swami. He's a junior in Roosevelt High School in Eastvale. He's aspiring to be a computer science and finance major. He has a great love for South Indian culture and traditions. He is an officer for several clubs at his high school. He's also a youth council ambassador. And he loves to take on challenges and overcome roadblocks and try to find a good solution for those. He's passionate about finance and also has taken some financial internships and workshops. He's currently the student executive board member of the STYLE, the current SoCal Tamil STYLE organization. And also he's an active volunteer in Eastvale Tamil Kalvi. He loves playing tennis and resides in Eastvale, California. Welcome, Chinmay. All righty, and joining us next is Vishaalakshi and Nachiappan. She's a sophomore in University High in Irvine. She's in different clubs at our high school, which includes Youth Action Team, class representative, and she's the first and March for Our Lives. And she's a proud graduate of Irvine Tamil Kalvi in 2021. She volunteers for Irvine Tamil Kalvi, STYLE, Young Translators. She is a student executive board member of STYLE, and she's a volunteer in US Kids for Water spoken English program, which offers English training programs to children in Tamil Nadu. She loves sports, being in track and field. Her hobbies include Bharatanatyam, volunteering, and loves Tamil music and movies. And she resides in Irvine, California. Welcome, Ms. Alakshi. And joining us is Mahathi Prabhu. She's currently a freshman at Sunny Hills High School here in Fullerton. Her current high school activities include being in ASL Club, Indian Students Association, and Cal State Fullerton Titans Club. She plans to join HOSA, NHS, sports, and gets to be more involved in other high school activities. She's also vice president of the ASL club at her high school. She's also a proud graduate of Brea Tamil Kalvi last year, and she volunteers at Brea Tamil Kalvi and also in speech and debate. She's a freshman, but she's maintaining a current weighted GPA of 4.6. Her hobbies include playing flute, listening to music, and also volleyball. Also, she qualified twice for national speech and debate and placed fourth nationally in POI, and also a quarterfinalist in HI humorous interpretation, and she lives in Fullerton, California. Welcome, Mahathi.
Thank you for having me.
So we have great topics here. The first 10 minutes we will spend on general questions, and then we will move on to some discussion on GPA, standardized tests, taking some credits and all that. And we'll be hearing from our college grads about their essays, the PAQs, and how to write impressive essays. And then there will be some discussion on volunteering, sports, and extracurricular activities to get more visibility to college admissions. And most importantly, they will be sharing their admission experiences and also some social challenges coming from a South Asian Indian Tamil family. Stay excited, everybody. We are here. Welcome.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. Let me stop sharing and let me briefly pin. Give me 1 second. Let me pin the.
Saran and Mani here. Are we planning to record the session in any way?
This is already being recorded, Mani.
Oh, great. Thanks.
So let me. Okay. So. All right, I'm just waiting for Laksh to settle down in one place, and once he's ready, then I'll also pin him. Just to confirm, are we seeing Shruthi, Rahul, Mahathi, and Chinmay and Vishali in the pin? The view of 5 speakers. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, Prabhu, and thanks everyone. Let's continue and let's get into the panel discussion. Over to you, Chinmay and Vishali and Mahathi to start the conversation. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Vishaalakshi, Vishali. Thanks so much for our panelists, Rahul, Shruthi, and Lakshman. So my first question to them today is, how's your freshman life in 3 sentences?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So we've all just recently transitioned from the high school life to the college life. And it is a pretty big change, right? Because we're living at home with our friends and families, we're seeing them on a regular basis. Our family's all here. We went to this completely new place, and we're just doing our thing. For me, the first sentence would be that it's very chaotic, right? There's always a lot of things going on. There's a lot of opportunities to get out there and do stuff. The second sentence would be it's very, I guess it's kind of relaxing in its own way, because you're given more opportunities and you have more of a less restrictive time frame to do as you please, but there's good and bad that comes with that, as we'll see later on in the session. And the third sentence would be that it's very let's see, it reminds me of how grateful I am for everything that I have, right? Because moving into this new place, it just makes me appreciate even more what I had at home and what I still have now.
Shruthi?
Yeah, pretty much everything that Rahul said. I would say my first sentence would be pretty stressful. It's a new environment and you're learning a lot of new things in more ways than one. So yeah, pretty stressful. But my second sentence would be lots of fun, lots of freedom. Unlike high school, I feel like high school is very structured. You leave the house at 8 a.m., you stay there till 6 p.m., depending on whether or not you're doing sports. Then you come back, you do homework, you do all that fun stuff. But in college, you're on your own. You're completely on your own for the first time. And it's up to you to kind of create that schedule and to kind of stick to that schedule for what you created. So a lot more freedom, a lot more flexibility in that. And the third one would be, I guess, a lot of growth. I found, like, especially since I find myself kind of looking back onto my high school days and just thinking like, this is a different, like completely different life that I'm living than what I was when I was living in high school. And it's just really cool to see how far I've come.
Laksh, if he's ready.
Hi. Yeah, I say pretty similar things. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd say like it's really, I had a lot of fun. First of all, yeah, every day's a new day. You never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Like, yeah, always really unpredictable. But yeah, I've been keeping up with my work. I found myself pushing myself more than I ever have before, and it's really nice. I actually really liked it. It's really fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Chinmay has the next question for you guys.
Hi guys, thank you for being in this panel today. Shruthi, Rahul, and Laksh. My question for you guys today was, do you feel that you found your passion when applying to colleges? Like, do certain colleges just hit you right there? Do you really find your interest in that college?
I can go. I personally would say yes. I think especially at my college, I definitely have found my current passion. And I think it's important to realize that you guys are still young, and especially like college freshmen, and that your passion might change over time. So I think, yes, at the moment now I have definitely found my passion, but it's important to like realize that might change over time. And it's good to pick a college that allow for that flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about
I
you,
totally
Rahul?
agree with Shruthi. Yeah, I totally agree with her, because for me, I've always like been in between like math and like engineering, and then on the other hand, like STEM courses like biology and science in general. So my first quarter at UCLA, like I was just testing out everything. I took a bunch of math, computer science, but I also took a neuroscience course, and it just like completely opens up to this shows me like there's not just like one clear-cut path to like do something. While you're like learning about what you want to do, you can also take other classes and still see if you want to change maybe later on.
Okay.
And about that, I would say like, yeah, I've never really wanted to know what I wanted to do like through high school. I honestly only decided what I really wanted to do like once I came here. But yeah, so don't stay like fixated on like one topic, or like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Like, you just come in with an open mind, like explore. Every school, like no matter what school you go to, it has like a lot of opportunity, so just look around and yeah, just see what appeals to you, honestly. Like
Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Mahathi. Thank you to all the panelists, and I had some questions for you. So starting off, I just wanted to know, what do elementary schoolers and middle schoolers need to know about college admissions, and what should they start thinking about?
I can start with this one if you want. Yeah, I'd honestly say don't worry about that right now. Just have fun. You're still in elementary school. Like, you don't need to be sweating about these things already. Like, you still have I would only like start truly thinking about it once you hit high school. I would say the middle school, it's supposed to be fun. Like, you're not supposed to be sweating about stuff like this. So just explore your interests, find out what you like doing. Don't worry about it. Just if you've always wanted to do something, then like seek that. But don't like be like, oh, I'm gonna do this for college, and like don't be in like 5th grade and wanting to be like, oh, I'm gonna do this for college, because like what you're doing in 5th grade, like you won't write on your college app. You mostly only write stuff starting from freshman year.
Yeah, I totally agree with Lakshman on that. As an elementary or even middle schooler, there's not really a lot of prep that you have to be doing. I would just say just focus on doing well in the classes that you are doing right now, and just have fun being a kid, because you're only going to get more busy as you grow older, and it's definitely true when you get in college.
Yeah, same thing here. Like when you're in elementary school, your biggest worry should be the playground. I don't think you should be focused on college admissions or anything like that. At most, like maybe develop some really strong study skills that'll like kind of prepare you for that high school transition. But ultimately, elementary and middle school, like as I think Rahul said, like they're only really going to look at your freshman year and above. Even like freshman year, they don't really focus on especially. So yeah, focus on being a kid, focus on having fun.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree with that, guys. Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next one about high school credits and like A through G requirements. There's a lot to talk about on that. So we can just have an overview. You don't have to be a set question. Yeah. Where anyone can start on credits and A through G requirements.
Yeah. So at my school specifically, like we had like a different set of requirements just to graduate from high school, but those are all completely different from getting into college. So you want to make sure you check what the A through G requirements are. And they're like really simple stuff saying like take 2 classes in this course or take 2 classes in that course, just like telling you what to do in order to get into college. But you also want to make sure that you're satisfying your high school graduation courses at the same time. Because for me, like one of my high school graduations was visual and performing arts. Like, I don't know if that was on A through G, but everyone in my high school did it just so that we could get our diploma and enroll in college. But you just want to make sure that you're doing your courses to graduate high school and get into college.
Yeah, and I would also like to add, like the whole point of the whole, like the A through G requirements is to basically make sure that you get a holistic education in high school and to prepare you for college, whatever you choose to pursue, right? And the whole the whole chart I remember was super confusing for me. So the best advice I can give you to navigate that chart is to befriend your counselor, whatever academic counselor you have, because they're going to be the one that's going to guide you through that whole process of kind of enrolling in classes and figuring out what credits you still need to enroll in. And if all goes well, they can write you a pretty good recommendation letter for college. So make those connections for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with all that too. The A to G requirements, you don't need to be too worried about those, because by the time you graduate, you'll probably most likely have done all of them, so it's not a huge issue. So yeah, just stick to like what your school recommends, and because your school, the graduation requirements are usually harder than the A to G ones. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what role do the high school stats play, like GPA in college admissions, and like what's the difference between a low GPA and a high GPA?
I can go first for this one. So obviously higher GPA is better than a lower GPA when it comes to college admissions. So obviously try to maintain a high GPA. But I feel like, especially since after the pandemic, they removed the requirement of SAT test scores, or rather it's optional for most schools. I do definitely believe they're placing more of an importance with GPA. And so it used to be kind of an equal split between, a good test score could make up for a GPA, or a good GPA could make up for a test score. But now that test score like aspect is kind of removed. So I would definitely obviously like focus on your GPA and keep it up.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. And another thing, like from what I've seen from in terms of GPA and in colleges, is that the only reason why they're asking for it is to see how well you did in school and to compare with other students. Because if they didn't have like a form of standardizing, like giving everyone like a numerical score, then there's not really a way for them to objectively compare everyone. So that's why GPA is kind of important, because even if you're like lacking in some other category, just having a good GPA can show that, okay, I can get the work done. I'm a good studier. I can get prepared. I can get stuff done.
Yeah, I'd say GPA is important. And like GPA is like what gets you into the door, and then everything else you need to like kind of carry yourself for. But if you don't have a good GPA, like you're not getting into any door. So just maintain just maintain a good GPA. You should be fine. And then everything else is like all the other stuff you did and the classes you took and stuff like that.
All right, guys. So the next question is, what kind of specialized classes like honors, dual, or AP classes have you taken throughout high school? Any one of you can start.
So for me, in terms of AP classes, I try to take as many as I could, just because I wasn't really going for like the grade bump or anything. I just wanted to take more rigorous classes so that I could just learn more. And I stuck towards more of the STEM classes, but I also did a lot of AP history and English classes. So I kind of just like covered all my bases. And then if an AP wasn't available in that category, I just filled it up with an honors. And then the way I look at it is like honors and AP, or at least when it comes to honors classes, is that the content may not be significantly more difficult, but the pace is, but you're also surrounded by more like-minded students, right? You want to be surrounded by people who are also working hard. So definitely do take that if you can. And yeah.
Yeah, everything that Rahul said. And also I think the key takeaway is take as many AP classes as you can, which means don't take every AP class offered by your school, right? That's just like a recipe for disaster almost. And so I didn't take any AP history classes in my high school because I knew I wanted to do something STEM related. So for me to kind of take those classes didn't really seem too productive for me. And it would just be an additional workload on top of my already super intense workload. So also keep in mind that AP classes are supposed to be the equivalent of college courses. And me as a college student, I don't take more than like 4 or 5 college courses. So for you to be taking 6 or 7 APs per year is unrealistic. But I mean, if you can do it, do it. Like by all means, power to you. But be careful is my best advice.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just do as many as like you feel comfortable doing. Like me, I think I did a pretty fair amount. There are a lot of hard ones, you know, like Chem's more on the harder side, and then like there's ones like Psych, Gov, those are easy. And like I know people that have done like 15, 17, like one of my buds has done 18. But yeah, at the end of the day, like just do what you can manage to do and you'll be fine.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the different standardized tests that you've taken, like the PSAT, SAT, or anyone can start.
Yeah, I've only taken the SAT, and before I took the SAT, I took the PSAT. I only took the PSAT because our school was offering it for free, and it was kind of like everyone to do it just to see, like, get a gauge about where you are. And as for the SAT, I took it twice, and in our household, we have a pretty funny story about that. So we took it at like the height of the pandemic. So all the test centers in California were fully closed down. So we actually decided to do like the family road trip. We all went to Nevada. We took it there. And then a week later, a friend of mine and I, we took it in Arizona. So we were just driving for like 2 weeks. We went to Nevada, back to California, to Arizona, back to California. And then, yeah, so that's what we did in that. And as far as like any prep for that, I didn't really take any like courses from like Princeton A Review or something like that. I just studied online resources for free. And it was just like a lot of repetition, because like once you figure out how to do it, you just got to get better at doing it. So just a lot of repetition, and that's all my experience with standardized testing.
Yeah, same here. Especially for our class, the class of 2022, like standardized testing was a nightmare. And so many, like I signed up for the SAT like 3 separate times and it got closed. My testing centers got closed every single time. And so I took the SAT pretty late, actually, into, I don't remember which year, but I did take it pretty late. And I ended up having to drive like 2 hours to my testing center. So I only took it once. And I also took the PSAT because my school was offering it. So, but yeah, in terms of advice, I have to agree with what Rahul said, just like bunch of repetition over and over again, because it is a tiring test and you're building, like, not only are you learning how to answer the questions, but you're also building stamina to sit down for however many hours. I think they're actually changing the format for the test for you guys, but it's still a long test nonetheless. So I think the best advice I can give you, or what I did, is look up practice tests online and like set aside a chunk of time to do those practice tests and then do them.
I have a
Yeah, I would agree. I would say the same thing too. I did the PSAT. I think at the end of my sophomore year. I didn't really have a location problem. Like I was able to take the SAT. I think I took it at the end of my junior year. I only took it once. it wasn't really like a big deal to us or anything, because like, you know, most schools like they don't even like they don't even want to like see it. It's just extra work for them. So yeah, I wasn't too worried about that.
Thank you for sharing. I just have a related question now. So what's the buzz? Like, do California colleges need SAT in future? What's in for the future class of 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, I frequently get asked this a lot by a lot of my friends who are still in high school, like the juniors and sophomores that I knew, who are now seniors and juniors. I tell them take it, and if you feel like you got a good score, include it. And if you feel like it's not a good score and you've taken it, just don't include it, because the only thing that it can do right now is just to help boost your application. It's not in any way going to make you look bad. So it's kind of like a personal choice, and depending on what the type of score you get, you can feel free to add it or not. They shouldn't be doing any like weightage based off of that. It's everything else is really on the other aspects of your application.
Yeah, I would say I don't think it's as important anymore. I think they're actually trying to move away from it. So, you know, don't invest too much time in that stuff. Try to focus more on your school and your extracurriculars, but you know, never I think mostly they just use it for like scholarship reasons, the SAT now, but I don't think they actually like take anyone just because they got like a good SAT. I think it's just more like a, you know, like a an outstanding factor, like not as important, you know, but like it sets you apart.
Shruthi.
Oh, yeah, sure. Basically what they said, but in all honesty, I'm just as dark, like I'm just as in the dark as you guys are. We legitimately don't know what the future of testing is going to be like. I know like the UC specifically, they're trying to make their own test, which we could get into that, whatever. But in all honesty, we don't know. So I think the best thing you can do as students is, you know, yeah, definitely do the test if you have the means to do it, if you have the resources to do it, study hard, get a good score, but don't like let it completely take over your life, because it definitely weighs less in the admissions process than it did before. And, you know, as Lakshman said, it's like an outstanding factor. It's not going to be the core central part of your application. So yeah.
Okay, now we're going to a hot topic question. What's a good ACT or SAT score for UCs or Ivy Leagues, or yeah, just UCs and Ivy Leagues in general?
Okay, I can answer this question. So I personally didn't apply to any Ivy Leagues, but I have a bunch of friends who did, and they were all saying that for the Ivy Leagues, you should be aiming for a near perfect score. And you have to remember like the caliber of these Ivy Leagues, right? Like these schools take the cream of the crop. So obviously they're going to want like these near perfect, for example, for the SAT, like these 1580, 1590 kids. But again, as we just talked about, we don't know what the future of test scores kind of look like. So try your best is my best advice that I can give you, but just know that's the usual ballpark. That's the usual ballpark to even get your foot in the door. So yeah.
Is it a 1600 and a 36? Is that what it is for SAT?
Yeah, so a perfect score is 1600 for an SAT and then 36 for ACT. Correct.
Rahul and Lakshman, thoughts?
Yeah, Shruthi explained it perfectly. Like you just got to do really, really well if you want to get into these really, really good schools. It's definitely really difficult to get that type of score, but that's what these colleges want to see.
Laksh?
Yeah, so I would say about that, you know, like again, like no one's like anyone that goes to the Ivy Leagues isn't going just because of their SAT. Like I know one of my buddies got like I think he got like a 15, whatever, like the highest score minus 1 point. He missed one question. And then, you know, on like the right of me, I got like kids that like got like a 900. So like it's honestly really variable. Like I don't think it's important at all, honestly, because like you can have a perfect SAT and like you won't get in. Like it's very common, you know, like, you know, like I've been hearing like some of my like my friends in high school that were like seniors, like they're getting like they had pretty good stats too. They're not really getting in anywhere. So, you know, what you got to do is you just got to apply for a lot of schools, and you just got to like hope you get into like like those one or two that you really wanted. Like that's what I would probably do at this point.
All right, so the next question is, how do you manage to study for tests? Did you do any sort of outside preparation like tutoring or any sort of academies? Anyone can start.
Yeah, I can take that one. So like tutoring wise, I think my freshman year of high school, or it was somewhere in the start. I kind of struggled with I think it was like algebra 2 trig or like some class like that. So that was the only class that I like really had tutoring for, I think. I don't really remember, but once I hit my junior year, like things just started to come together. Like I was like I could like study however I wanted. I could take the test and I would do good. Like I would do really good. Like it didn't become it was only an issue for me like the beginning of high school. But once I got towards the end of high school, it was like light work. Like I just like study like the night before. Okay, like a few like I progressively study. I go in, I take the tests, and most of the time I do fine. It wasn't a big issue. Even like I say, just manage your time. Like just don't spend too much time on one class. Kind of like before you take all your classes, kind of like think like, okay, probably going to be spending most of my time on like this one class, and like so I should probably, if I want to do good in that one class, like I got to spend all my time on that. Like not all my time, but I got to like portion like a good amount of my time to that one class. And then like there's obviously going to be like like the light work classes like AP Psych or like some like you just got to memorize a bunch of terms, you take the test, and is light. Like so yeah, just figure out what the priorities are and just focus on those.
I can go. In all honesty, like find out what works for you when it comes to classes, because an easy class for another person can be a super hard class for you, but a super hard class, like a super easy class for you, can be a super hard class for someone else. So in all honesty, just it's going to take time, it's going to take like trial and error, but find out which strategy works best for you and which strategy helps you retain the most amount of info. And nobody's going to know that better than you. So just spend a lot of time with yourself, whether it be like flashcards or rewriting your notes or Khan Academy. That was it for me. Khan Academy saved me through high school. But a lot, yeah, it's all up to you. And I think rather than us giving you advice on how to do that, that should be up to you.
Yeah, I completely agree with Shruthi. It's like it's all about how much time you spend into it. Like for me, I never really spent a lot of time studying, but what I really did is like in class, like I always took really good notes. I was always really paying attention to what my teacher was saying, because learning in general is just how much time you put into it. So if you put in time during class and you put in time when you're doing homework, like that's already a lot of time in general. So I didn't have to put more time outside of that to study because I already had a good understanding. So just like not wasting the opportunities you get like in class and making sure whatever you do, you put 100% of your focus into it. You should already be at a really good spot in terms of comprehension. And then if you have to do a little bit more to study, it shouldn't be too much more. So just like whatever time you've already been given, maximize that, use it as well as you can. And then if you have to do a little bit more, do a little bit more, and it's going to be 100% fine.
Okay, so this is another popular topic, essay writing. So I'm just wondering if there are any tips to improve your personal insight questions and what would be some good prompts to choose?
Yeah, for essay writing, that one's always like just like a really good topic at my household, because for me, essay writing, I like always sucked at like during my all 4 years of high school. I think I only got really good at it my senior year. And in terms of like writing a good essay or just like finding a good prompt, like everyone's lives are different. They might like seem super similar, right? We're all Indian kids in California. We're going to school, like we're all taking classes and stuff. But trust me, there are differences in everyone's lives. So a lot of the prompts really reach out to that. So like, let's say there's a total of 8 prompts. 4 might be a really good fit for me, but another 4 could be a really good fit for you. So you want to take the time to really reflect on yourself and then pick the ones that best fit you. And then in terms of the content that you're going to write about, it should feel like you're just letting it all out. And you just have to like write it down and condense it down, and then it will turn out fine.
Completely agree. And when you open the application, there's going to be a little snippet that says like, there's no right or wrong answer to any of these questions, just right from the heart. That they're telling the truth. That's not a trick. There is legitimately no right or wrong answer. You just have to write from the heart. And so in terms of like what's a good prompt, that's going to be up to you. What I did is I copy pasted like all, I think 7 prompts into a Google Doc. I wrote bullet points for like each prompt, and then I picked the 4 that I was the most excited to write about, or I thought would make a really strong essay. And in terms of content for the essay, I wouldn't repeat anything that's already on the application. Like I would find something new to kind of highlight and like emphasize. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same thing too. Like, just like pick, like, don't spend like too much, like, don't like make it like a robotic type of essay. Just like kind of make it like natural, you know, just pick ones that appeal to you. And yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, along those, just want to have a side question. So do you just pick the prompts and share your life experiences, or the typical, life of a kid growing up in a South Asian household, or immigrant families, hardships, adversities, and all that stuff? Or how do you write? How do you come up with an idea to create a beautiful essay or a PIQ?
Yeah, usually they're a little bit more specific within that. So like, let's say an example of one, or I've done in the past, is like naming like an instance of a challenge that you've like overcome and like shown like leadership skills and all of that. So yeah, you could just write about any challenge and you can just like say how you've overcome it. But then you can also include like values that are from like a South Asian household, and values that, our parents have taught us. And you can play that into what you're writing about to show that not only did you overcome the challenge, but what made you overcome the challenge? What about you specifically allowed you to overcome the challenge?
Yeah, I would say the whole point of these essays is to kind of make you seem more human, because these applicants are looking at numbers all day, all night, right? Like you're at one point you're just like strictly defined by your numbers. So these essays kind of serve as a purpose to not be defined by your numbers, to kind of bring a more human side for you, like bring a more human side about you. So definitely use that opportunity to show like whatever your strengths are that kind of differentiate you from other applicants. And that can be like, whether it be highlighting an extracurricular that you're really proud of, or just like Rahul said, a challenge that you overcame, anything that you're really proud of, or anything that you want to showcase to these admissions officers.
Well, thank you. I think we lost Athappan. All right.
Yeah, probably. He's trying to get into the dorm. He's having a test today, so he said the test would be over at the around the top of the hour of 6. So it's okay. Let's continue. And once he settled down in a dorm, then in his dorm, then I'll pin him in. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, we can start with the next question. And the next question is, did you undergo any special like training for your essays? Like there's been a ton of ads and people promising to write you amazing essays. Do you find those legit? Do you trust them? Have you used them before?
No, none of the ads.
Yeah.
No, none of the ads on the internet I did not use. They're sketch. Don't do them. But what you can do if you want to ask for extra help, I would say ask maybe your English teacher at the time, or maybe your friends. They can all offer like input and like just fixes if you want. But I would, give your essay to people you trust. Don't go to ads online and stuff like that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And as far as like any like legitimate people or like companies who will like help you improve your essay writing or anything like that, I do know that they're very expensive. So that's like the only thing I've heard about them, that they're really expensive. I haven't really heard like, oh yeah, they completely transform my essays or anything like that. But for me, as far as I did for like my essay writing, is that I just like went to someone that I really trusted, because their family, their son got into college that year, and I just asked them to like look at my essay, and I also asked their son to look at my essay, And what I found out is like I was writing some good stuff down, but I wasn't like necessarily answering the prompt. So it's kind of like I wrote an essay about nothing related to the prompt. So it's like little things like that you yourself can't like determine on your own, because you do need like someone else looking at your essay to be like, oh, why did you write this, or what is this about? Because when you think of something in your head, it can sound really great, but when you try to write it down on paper, it doesn't always come out that way. So getting a second pair of eyes from someone that you really trust, that could be your parents, it could be your siblings, it could be anyone really, as long as you just trust them to give you an honest opinion on something, have them take a look at it, and then it's only going to help you do better in your essay. I don't think any opinion really is going to make your essay worse. It's just going to give you something like constructive criticism to like work with and make your essay better overall.
Okay, yeah, next on to the next question. This is about the UC application. So how does the UC application process work, and like your college and major, how did you guys, I mean, we talked about that, but like more into that, just maybe an overview into UC apps. Any of you could start.
I can go. So in terms of the UC application, it's one big application for the UCs. They kind of work as like you said, they work as an interconnected system when it comes to actual application. So you fill out like your name, your date of birth, all that fun stuff, and then you get to a point where you check off the schools that you want to apply to. It's almost like adding schools in like a little shopping cart. It's pretty fun. And then you fill out all like, okay, what's your GPA? What's your extracurriculars, your essays, stuff like that, and then you submit it. But yeah, and then you submit it, and then it sends the application to the colleges that you selected. So that's how it works, basically.
Yeah, you're inputting a lot of information into just like this one website that's going to send it to all your schools. But what I've noticed in the past, like when we did it last year, every single like little section, like let's say they want to know what are your extracurricular activities, or is there anything you want to share about yourself? Like if they give you a box to write down something to tell yourself more about them, like it doesn't matter what you write down, just like write down something to show them that you really care. Like show them more stuff of you, because you can only fit so much in your grades and in your essays. And if they're giving you a chance to write down even more, like write down more about yourself. Like they're gonna get to know more of you. And you guys are all good people, so I'm pretty sure that they're gonna like, oh, okay, this person is even greater than I thought. Like that we know that now.
Hi, I just rejoined. Yeah, my phone died, but I made it back to my room. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that, by the way. I just got out I just had EMT training at my last session, and yeah, I graduated. So yeah, that's nice. But wait, what was the question? Sorry.
The question was, how does the UC like app work, and then like how did you choose a college and major?
Oh, okay. Wait, how does the UC system work?
Like the application, like UC app portal.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty light. Like you just fill out like a bunch of like, you just fill out like you just spend the first, I'd say you spend like the first like 3 hours just like, oh, like that's my name, that's my email, that's my like where I'm from. You just provide all your details, and then after that, the next month you just spend on your essay or however long you want. Yeah, that's it.
Mahathi has your next question.
Since UC is an interconnected system, do you have to like only write 4 essays when applying to like many UC colleges like UCI or UCLA?
Yes. So I want to say something about this. Yes, you only have to write 4 essays. If you write 5, they will not read the 5th one. I actually don't think you can physically submit more than 4. So don't be an overachiever is basically what I'm saying. But I wanted to highlight where you said, like, since the UC is an interconnected system, the UCs, when making decisions, operate completely independent of each other. So when you're submitting that application, yes, it's interconnected. It's all one cohesive application. But when the application is in, they're all independent. They're completely separate campuses. They don't talk to each other. They don't have this secret society that they meet up with to like talk about admissions, right? They're completely independent. So UCLA is not calling UC Davis being like, oh, so-and-so got into this school, you should reject that. No, that's not how it works. So just know that like once the application's in, it's like you've applied to like however many colleges that you apply to separately. They're not talking to each other or anything like that. So it's not like, oh, if I get into this school, I'm not going to get into these schools. No, that's not how it works. So just know that in the back of your mind. That might relieve some anxiety during the process.
Yeah, Shruthi's absolutely right with that. That's all there is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too. I don't think I have anything else to add to. That was pretty good.
Okay, we're going on to extracurriculars. So there's always that confusion of, how does volunteering help, what extracurriculars you do, and like how do they even help? So we could talk about like extracurriculars and clubs and volunteering. How they help. Anyone can start.
I can start. So yeah, extracurriculars definitely help for sure. It shows that you're not just defined by your grades and your SAT scores. Like between two kids, like if one kid just had their SATs, like their scores and that's it, and another kid who had slightly lower scores but more extracurriculars, they're gonna take that other kid, right? So it just shows that you're a well-rounded person, and like you don't spend all of your time hitting the books and stuff like that. So yeah, they definitely help, and please do them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd say like try to do whatever you can in your free time. Try not to, like, for like clubs, like you don't need to do like a 9 or 10 or like 8 or 7. Like there's no number. Just like just do like a few, just do like 1 or 2 or 3. And but like in those like 3 that you're in, like try to like actually like do something instead of just being a member, like try to get like a good position in those. And like I think like there's like the normal extracurriculars, like, oh, like I ran track, like I played soccer, like I did this. And then there's levels to like extracurriculars too. Like there's stuff that a lot of people might do, and then there's stuff that like not that many people might do. So you might want to try to like do ones that like you want to like just maintain like a balance. Like you don't want to like, yeah, I think you guys get the point.
Yeah, the extracurriculars should, like, not only are they going to add to your college application, but they also make high school and more fun in general, right? Because if you're just like constantly studying and doing all this work all the time, you're gonna get pretty bored of it pretty quick. So like for me, like playing tennis or doing science Olympiad, those were kind of like things outside of school, still related to school, that I could do, and it wasn't really like so much pressure as like doing my classes, but it was definitely fun, and it also was something that I could write about in my application.
Okay, so for the next question, how do you pick extracurricular or like other activities? Like for example, do you want to be an officer or position in this club or that club? How would you know which one to commit to? Because it does take a lot of time, right? So anyone can start.
I can start again. So picking like club and volunteering, I get this question a lot, and the answer I always give is do what you like and be good at it, right? Because you have to think about this from like an admissions officer's perspective, right? Like they've been doing the whole reading applications things for a very, very long time. They have read millions and millions of applications. They can tell the difference between a kid who joined a bunch of extracurriculars and did a bunch of volunteering like only for college, and the kid who did extracurriculars and who did volunteering because they were passionate about it. They can tell that difference, and they're going to want to take the kid who did all that stuff because of their passion. And so the best advice I can give you guys is find what you like, do that, and be good at it. So if you like baking, join a baking club or become the president of a baking club. If you like gaming, join a gaming club and like maybe even create your own game, who knows? But like, again, like it's been a consistent theme, right? Be true to yourself, just know what you want and be good at that.
Yeah, That's a really good point, right? Because if you don't really like something, or if your heart's not really in it, you're not gonna be like amazing at it. So pick stuff that you guys are good at, pick stuff that you want to learn more about, pick stuff that you want to just generally like doing, and you'll find out while you're doing that, you're gonna end up like putting a lot of time and dedication, and you're gonna make something out of it, and that's gonna be really helpful to write about in your application. But it's also gonna be like nice to look back on too. Yeah. So just pick stuff that you guys want to do.
Yeah, I would also say like just like don't force yourself to like do a bunch of like things that you're not really interested in, you know, just pick things that you find interesting and fun and something that you could like actually learn from. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, how do music certifications or sports activities help in college applications?
I can take this one. Like, I don't honestly like. I don't think they help too much. You know, like I was pretty big into. I guess I was pretty big into sports in high school, but like I had a lot. Like you're doing like things like sports. Like you can ask anyone that's doing it. Like anyone that's doing sports is not doing it to like get into like college. They're doing it because like they actually like want to. Like me. Like I don't even think I even considered that. Oh, I'm doing this for like college. Like the only reason I was doing it was because I thought it was fun. I had fun doing it. It was cool. So that's why I did it.
Yeah, I think colleges are gonna value like a leadership position much more rather than your participation in a sport. So yeah, do a sport because you like it. Like I did dance in high school and I did that because I love dance and it was a passion of mine. And because it was kind of like, I guess, a sense of freedom from all of my other stuff that was happening in high school. So like do a sport because you like it and know that college is like, it's not going to make or break your application, whether or not you have a sport or not. So don't worry about it too much and do it because you like it.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. I only did tennis in high school. There was actually like a period of time where I thought I could just like go pro or stuff, but I just did it because I just really like the sport, and it definitely does not hurt your college application, right? But showing that you're able to work in a team and you're able to work and communicate with other people is a very important like skill and like aspect of like a working life type of thing. So they want to see that early on that you're able to do all that. So just like if you're gonna do something, like just make sure that you're doing it with your best and you're striving to like go for like a leadership position in that.
Okay, the next one is a more hot topic question. So getting internships and like having an internship. So did you guys get any or advice or going into the internships?
I would say in high school, I didn't have any internships there. They're actually like they're pretty hard to get. Like you can't like I don't think you can go out and just apply to them and like get in. I think you need some like connection. Like oh, my family member, my uncle is doing this, or like oh, my dad's like best friend is like in this company. Like oh, he could probably get me in. Like it's pretty hard to get in. I guess it's good if you do though. I don't know anyone that had anything like that in high school though.
Yeah, I did one internship in high school, and that was during the period of time when I wanted to do biology in college. So it was a biology related internship. And like Laksh said, I got it through connections. I didn't apply to it directly. I actually asked a friend of mine and I ended up getting it through her. So you can do it, but yeah, it's definitely a highlight if you have it in your application for sure.
Yeah, I never did any internships in high school. I think for internships, you're working with like these really big companies, right? Like in order to contribute to the company, to get something out of it, you also need to have some skill of your own. And in high school, I don't think all of us are kind of like ready for that yet. But I'll actually be doing my first internship in the summer here with UCLA Health. So that was like a pretty regular like internship process. You know, you just give all your information and you have to like go through rounds of interviews to get it. So there's like interview prep you'll do for all of that. But in high school, I didn't do any, but I'll be doing my first one here in college.
All right, so the next question is, what is the importance of community colleges? Like, how does the transfer from community college to a UC really work?
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, so basically what you do is like if you choose to not if you choose to like not go to like a 4-year school right out of the way, you can always go to your community college and then you get like an associate's degree. I think it's called associate's degree, but like basically you get like a certain amount of units. You like take a certain amount of you basically like in college there's like things there's like two types of classes. There's like your GEs, which are like just general education classes, like oh like I got to do English. So like each major will have a different amount of like requirements you got to do, and like some major, like the this or like the math, the science majors are gonna have more. You're gonna have to do more science stuff than the business majors, So like so the business majors might have more like GEs in like history and like economics and just like a bunch of business classes, but like the science people might have more GEs in like other areas. So what you basically do in community colleges, you just do all those GEs, and then once you get your like associate's degree or you get the unit requirement, then you get like then you can apply for transfer, and then you'll probably get picked up by like one of the UCs or like the Cal States, and then I think you enter as like a junior. You'll so your status will be like a junior, and like since you already did all your GEs, you'll just be doing what are considered upper division classes. So like the hard classes for your major, like the ones that actually like set your major apart. So yeah. Like I know a lot of people that are doing that too. A lot of people from my high school, they're going that way. It's in the end of the day, it's just whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to, as long as we're on the topic of community colleges, I wanted to highlight a program in community college that a bunch of my friends are doing. And it's something called TAG, which stands for the Transfer Admission Guarantee Program. And it's specifically for UCs. So if you want to go to a UC in the future, this might be the program for you. And it's basically saying like any California community college you enroll in, right? It has to be a California one. You sign this contract in the beginning of the year saying, okay, if I complete this many courses and I pass all these courses within my 2 years of this community college, I will get guaranteed acceptance into a participating UC school after those 2 years. And I don't think all the UCs participate in them. I think UC-Irvine, Rep, UC Davis, and UC Santa Barbara all participate in those school this program. So I don't know if I'm pretty sure there's one more, but I can't remember. Anyways, but it's fine. But basically, yeah, you sign a contract saying I do well in these courses and I pass these courses and I maintain a high GPA. At the end of these 2 years, I'm at this California community college, I will get a guaranteed spot in my third year at your school. And so you finish your contract, you finish those 2 years, and when it comes to apply, you basically go that route with the program. And your third year, you join that college of your choice, which I think is super cool. I think a bunch of my friends are actually doing it right now. And so if you really want to go to a UC one day, that's definitely a program that you guys should look into.
Yeah, it's a really great program. I know a lot of people from my high school are doing it. And in terms of like going to community college, right? Like you may not be going to a UC your first 2 years of college, but it also means you're not paying the price of going to a UC, right? In general, community colleges are cheaper, and if that fits your financial situation better, then might as well do it, right? And with programs like these that help you get into a UC or like a state college afterwards, like you're going to pretty much be doing the same type of education, right? The first 2 years, everyone's pretty much just doing their general education. The only difference is cost is where you're going. So just seeing what's your situation and what you could do to like make the most out of it. And then if you need a transfer or stick to where you are, then there's options to do that as well.
I think the other UC was UCLA, a TAG program. Okay. But the next one going into is how many colleges did you guys apply to? And then like, what are the different types of colleges? And like, they call it the 3 reach, like the safety target, that type of colleges.
Yeah, I think I applied to like 15 colleges. That's like on the higher end. Most people, like if they know for sure this is where they want to go and they know they're going to get in, maybe like 3 or 4 is like the max they would do. In terms of like safety, I applied to Cal State Fullerton and Cal State Pomona, or Cal Poly Pomona. Those are the 2 local colleges where I live. And then all my targets would be most of the UCs, the ones I applied to. And in terms of reaches, these would be like the Ivy League schools, and that's pretty much, yeah. And the way we thought about it is like, I'm only going to be applying to colleges once in my life. It's not like I'm going to do this again every year for the rest of my life. So we might as well see like what happens and what we could get out of it, and then make a informed decision with all of our options.
Yeah, I actually only applied to schools in California because I knew that I wanted to stay in California. The only out-of-state school I applied to was Arizona State University because my dad's an alma mater there. So he was like, you should apply. I was like, okay. But yeah, I applied to the Cal States, I applied to the UCs, and I applied to a couple of privates, especially some that were religious based because of my religion. And there's something called a shotgunning approach, which is where you apply to like 100, 130, 150 colleges and just see which one bites. If you have the financial means to do that, go ahead. Because you'd have to pay an admission, like an application fee for all these colleges. So if you want to do that, sure. I didn't do that though. I would say only apply to a college that you know you're going to go to, because otherwise you may be taking a spot from someone who actually wanted to go to that college. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't apply. I think, yeah, I don't know anyone that's doing 150, but like, cause that's like a lot. Cause like, I mean, if you just like start like adding up the numbers, like if it's like roughly like $80 an application, like, you know, like it can stack up. So like definitely like, I mean, if you want to apply to a lot, like I would probably not do over like 25, but like, even then, I don't know anyone that's doing that much. Like I had one friend that did like, I think he did like 25 or 30, and then he just ended up like and then he just ended up going to community instead. He's like, oh, I'll just do that. So like, you know, sometimes like it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you change your mind. But me, I think I applied, I don't even remember. I think I applied to all the UCs except Merced. And then I didn't apply to any Cal States. And then out of state, I only had a couple. I applied to Boston University and I think University of Washington also. I definitely, and Northeastern. I probably had one more, but I don't remember. But yeah, I didn't have way too many. Yeah, I didn't have too many out of states. I was mostly looking to stay in California.
All right, guys, in your perspective, what do you think the most challenging university is? Whether it's a UC or an Ivy, what do you guys think?
I would assume like Harvard, right? I don't know. I feel like that's different for everybody, but yeah, the Ivy Leagues are Ivy Leagues for reasons, right? And they're hard, so I would assume like one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, wherever you end up, that's going to be your most challenging college, right? Because that's going to be the one that you're going towards. But I guess the Ivy Leagues are going to be harder than everywhere else, just because of like, you know, just because of how they are. But wherever you go, like no matter where you're going, it is going to be hard. You're still going to have to put in a lot of work. You're going to have to study regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, like probably the Ivy Leagues. I heard like Berkeley's like I have some friends down there. They say it's pretty bad out there, but yeah, like you know, some schools you're gonna have to study more than others, you know. Some schools I heard like there's like some of the hardest. I heard like I think like UCLA, Berkeley, like I heard they do like curve grading or something like that, where like there's like there's a number set where only like 10% of my class is gonna get an A, and then like the next 30 will get a B, and then the next like whatever remaining percent will like get like a C, D, and like so like you know like some of these like Ivy League schools they tend to grade on like their scale of grading might be different, and then you know there's like the other like UCs where it's just like the grade you get is the grade you get. They're not there's gonna be hard classes like don't get me wrong, like a lot of the classes are hard, like you got to study hard still. Like you can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna come to like I'm gonna go to like Santa Cruz or Riverside and I'm just gonna like sleep my way through. Like you still got to study, and like you like it's not you like, and no matter where you go, like you still got to try.
Okay, the next one's about grants and scholarships and just how to approach them and apply them. Yeah.
Yeah, grants are pretty. Or go ahead.
That's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. In terms of like grants and like just like getting money to go to colleges, it's just really dependent on everyone's financial situations, right? Like, I'm sure whatever your guys' like parents make, like that's all it's going to be taken into like factoring if you're going to get a grant, scholarship, or anything like that. And if you do want to like try and reduce the cost of going to college, as always, like apply to as many scholarships as you can. If you meet all the requirements, go ahead and write their essay and just send it in. Like you never know what you're gonna get. And even if you get like a small scholarship, like 500 or something, like it's still gonna add up if you get multiple of those. So just like apply and do as much as research as you can, because it really is just dependent on everyone's unique like financial situation.
Yeah, I would agree. Like when you apply to like a lot of schools, they already like consider you for scholarships. Like I would say like if you want like a academic scholarship, I know like the UCR has only one of my friends like has one of these, but like it's like Regents, or I think a lot of the UCs have them, but like as if you have like really clean grades, like just perfect grades through high school, like you could probably get on Regents, which would cover like half of only your tuition, not your housing. But like other like outside scholarships, I guess there's a lot of them, you know. Yeah, you can apply to them. Personally, I've never like heard of anybody that like won a scholarship off of like niche or anything like that. But like I heard that's one of like the popular websites where like people like try to like enter scholarships. But like I mean, I've never met anyone that like got anything off there. I never got anything off there. So but yeah, you know, it's always worth a try. You know, just be careful where you like enter all your information. You know, you don't want to be. I heard like a lot of these like there's a lot of like fake websites going around now. I'm not really sure about that, but yeah, so just be careful where you enter your information. You know, always think twice and just try to see if anyone's actually like got like, you know, the most of the big scholarships will you apply through like your school. Like there'll be a portal for that too, so you can try doing that.
Yeah, and sorry, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Actually, my roommate's a Regents scholar for UCI, so I can confirm that there's like different levels for Regents. So there's like full tuition and there's half tuition. I think my roommate's half tuition. And you don't have to do any third-party application or anything like that. Once you're admitted into the university, you're automatically considered for those scholarships. And also, I will say, once you're admitted into a university and once you've committed to the university, most universities will have like a scholarship portal where they kind of collect all of this like third-party scholarships all on like one page, and you can just apply to them through the university. And so that's actually what I did for UCI. And there was a bunch of like, write a short essay about blah, blah, blah. And if you won, they gave you like $500. So definitely look into that.
Vishali, would you be able to ask the next question?
Oh, sure. Yeah. How does Cal State's and just UC's work? I think that was the question. Yeah. I think that's a very broad question, but yeah, I think Cal State's and UC's like maybe like their system or like how they process or just how they work in general.
I can answer from the admissions perspective in that the Cal States, when you're like filling out information for the Cal States and the UCs, Cal States only look at grades and test scores. They will not take into consideration of your extracurriculars. There's like one little question of like, how many hours did you spend with your extracurricular? And that's it. That's literally it. So your GPA plays a much more important factor, if not your entire application for the Cal States. And the UCs are much more holistic in that. And the UC application, because they're so much more holistic and because they ask a lot more on the application, takes a lot more time. So what I did when I was applying, I actually got all the Cal States out of the way first because that application did not take long at all. And then I worked on my UC application for like a good 2 months. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I would say like I would say I would agree for like all that for the admission side. Once you come here, you know, most of the UCs, I think they're pretty similar. Like, you know, you register for classes, you go to class, you eat, you sleep. Cal State's, I have a lot of friends at Cal State. I have a friend at Cal State Fullerton. It's pretty similar. You know, it's just I think the college experience is, I want to say it's pretty similar. I mean, it depends on one major thing is like, you know, your location, you know, like, oh, is my college like in the middle? Is it in a major city? Like, you know, there might be more stuff, there might be more access to things like, but opportunities wise, I'd say all the UCs, you know, like have you know, there's obviously gonna be ones that have like more opportunities than the other, you know, but like I'd say like if you like you can like do you can like look and you can look forever and there'll always be something that like you can do that like there's definitely like lots of opportunities like through the UCs and yeah, somewhat for the Cal States too.
Yeah, that's really good. Most of my friends from high school, a lot of them go to Cal States, and the only real difference between like me and them is like instead of me dorming on campus and going to school, they live at home. They just drive every day to school. But other than that, they're still learning. They're still taking the exams, just like we are. But yeah, the Cal States are their own system of colleges, just like the UCs are their own system of colleges, but they're both public schools funded by the government and all that. Other than that, they're just colleges. So.
I think Mahathi has your next question.
Yeah. So the next question is, I think, a hot topic. So what is the acceptance rate of an in-state student versus an out-of-state student versus an international student? Like, what are the chances of each of those types of students getting into their desired college?
I think for the UCs in particular, there was this law that recently passed, I think during our admission cycle, during the class of 2022, that required the UCs to enroll more California students rather than out-of-state or international students. And I think out-of-state and international students are all just lumped into one big category of international. So there's California students, and then there's international kids. So I think for the UCs, if you're an in-state student, you're going to have a higher chance of getting in just because of that law. I don't know for other colleges. I can say for sure for the UCs, but for other colleges, I would assume if you're in-state, you have a higher chance. But also, I know some schools, like especially the other public schools, will prefer to enroll out-of-state kids because they're paying double the tuition and hence more money, stuff like that. But yeah, I can say for sure for the UCs, you have a higher chance if you're an in-state kid.
Yeah, I would say pretty similar too. Like, you know, UCs, like you're in state, you know, you're paying taxes here, so the chances you're gonna be paying less tuition here. So but then again, yeah, but anyways, I think they're gonna be like I think they're still gonna take out of states. Like, I mean, down here, I haven't met a single out of state. I mean, I know like one person that's out of state. But there's a lot of internationals though, I'd say that. Rather than out of states, I would say there's more international students there. They tend to be accepting a lot, like a decent amount of internationals. So yeah, like, and honestly, like, I think like there's a way to check like your status. Like, you have to have been living in California for like a certain amount of years to qualify as in-state, you know, because like you probably like have to be like a citizen of the United States or like some sort of there's definitely some requirement because like yeah, because like I mean, even one of my good friends has been he's been living here since like I think like he's been living here since like fifth grade, but like he qualified as an international actually because he didn't have his green card when he was applying for college. So, you know, there's a lot, like, if like for parents listening, like, you know, try to figure that stuff out early because, but then again, like the internationals tend to receive like I think they get some sort of scholarships because like there's no way that like they're gonna pay like 60K to like usually they get it cut down in half, but like so it usually comes out to like Like I mean I don't know the numbers or anything, but like they try to make it, they try to make it work for everyone. But just try to figure out if you're not like a citizen of their like green card, like just try to figure that out by the time you apply to college, because it can really affect like your student status, like whether you're in state or whether you're international or like whether you're out of state, like you just moved into California.
Yeah. Most of the people that I've met just like go on numbers based off of that, like say maybe like 80% are people from California, like whether it's Northern or Southern California. It's like mostly everyone I've met is from California. Maybe a few more from out of state, like Texas or New York or something, and very little international kids, maybe like one or two. So there's like, that just might give you an idea of like what the numbers are with that.
Okay, the next one is actually an interesting one about language credits. So a lot of people take Spanish, French, Chinese, and like now we have Tamil HSCP program. So like, what do you guys think about that? And like, how does that help in college applications? And just, yeah. Anyone? Yeah.
I can go. Unfortunately, my summer credits from Los Angeles Summer School didn't transfer over to my high school. So I didn't get any language credit for it, but I definitely put it in my extracurricular session because after graduating, I ended up teaching a lot at summer school and volunteering and stuff like that. But I do know the UCs specifically really like language. So if you do get credit for summer school, definitely focus on that. And they really like it if you take all 4 years of a language class. So I did all 4 years of Spanish, and I also just like Spanish. It was a cool class. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely knowing multiple languages or being able to show you have credit for is really helpful. I wasn't able to show credit for the stuff that I've learned, but I just like, put it down in my extracurriculars. Like, I know how to speak Tamil, I know how to speak Telugu, taking French in high school and all that. But as far as like in college, I don't think my engineering school requires us to have taken like a foreign language. So I'm like good on that front. But if you're like a humanities major or something, you might need 2 years of foreign language. So if you're not engineering, then there would definitely help out a lot.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, just like try to find out what the requirements are. And yeah.
All right, so this question's a little bit personal. How do you deal with pressure from parents when applying to college, especially, our Indian culture? How do you manage those sort of expectations, if you had any?
Yeah, I guess I could go first on this one. Yeah, I mean, college and like just like life after high school is a pretty big part of our lives, right? It's like this is where we're going to be learning the stuff and knowledge to transition into like a working life, and from there, like the rest of life just takes off. And our parents just want the best for us, and since I'm guessing most of us here are like first generation or maybe like second generation people. So our parents in general like aren't too familiar with the system here. That doesn't mean like they're not stupid or anything. It's just like they just don't know, right? Because they haven't been living here. And sometimes that like misgap in communication, that could be like very frustrating and all that. But you just have to remember that all like the worrying or like stress just comes from a good place, right? They just want the best for us. So it's really important that you have really good communication with your parents at this point in time, right? If you're not sure about something, or if they're not sure about something, you guys want to make sure you talk it and hash it out right away. Like for me, one part of the application that I'll just like that we still talk about to this day is like one of the prompts, right? There was like 2 ways about doing it. I wanted to do it way A, and my dad wanted to do it way B, and we just like could not agree on like how to do that part. But we ended up like coming to like some kind of consensus, I guess, and we just like submitted the application and everything worked out. So you got to remember, like in the heat of the moment, sure, like you're definitely gonna get frustrated with your parents, but you'll like forget about it like in like 3 months or something.
Yeah, I gotta be careful about what I say because they're in this call right now. No, I'm kidding. But during the process, they were pretty supportive. I don't remember us having too many fights. They might have a different story, but this is my side of the thing. But I think, I was equally in the dark as they were. As a first generation kid, like a bunch of my friends had older siblings or parents that went through the process. I didn't. I'm an only child, actually. Like, I didn't have anyone to really turn to. So we were all in the dark. And I think it was a matter of like when tensions started to get a little high, it was a matter of understanding, like, none of us know what we're doing. And so we should be patient. We should be understanding of each other. And I definitely appreciated that sometimes they would just kind of leave me alone and let me do my own thing and let me figure it out rather than trying to control every aspect of the application. And I think that alone time definitely really helped me figure out some stuff for myself and kind of figure out how I wanted to do it. And it all worked out in the end. So it's all going to be okay, is what I'm saying. You will clash, but it will be okay.
Yeah, I would say like, I mean, I guess like during the application, like my mom and I think I mostly worked on it with like my mom. Like I'd like write the essay and then like she like read it. It was pretty good. I don't think we never really got into like arguments or anything like that. Like it was pretty smooth. Like, you know, I'm obviously like thankful for her help and stuff like that. It was really nice. Like, you know, I honestly don't think it would have been pretty hard without my mom's help. But, you know, like and then like, yeah, I wouldn't say like pressure. Like, I mean, I don't say I had any pressure like that. Like, you know, I don't always have like, they're not always like, oh, like, how'd you doing this? How'd you doing that? How'd you do there? How'd you like they're just letting me like follow my own path. And they did that like in high school. I mean, I guess in the start of high school, they're like, oh, you have to do all this. You have to do all of that. But then like, I want to say like around like junior year, like they kind of just like let me do whatever I want. And like, I kind of like found my own way. I like ended up like doing like things that I found fun. And then like, like I guess when it came to like picking like schools, you know, like I could have I had the option to go all the way to the East Coast, but I
Looks like we lost him. We can continue probably with the next question.
Okay, so to conclude this social challenges section, I just wanted to ask, what was the hardest part of the college process? And how did you deal with it? And are there any final thoughts or words of wisdom for us high school students to know when applying to colleges?
Yeah, for me, I guess the hardest part would just be like the speed of it all, right? You're applying for schools in like a range of like 1 to 2 months, and then you wait for like 1 to 2 months, and then for another 1 to 2 months, you're getting all this like information like, oh, I got in here, I didn't get in here, so and so got in here, so and so didn't get in here, right? So it's really like the first 2 months of it, it's just like, okay, you're like putting in the work, you're getting everything down. The next 2 months, just like a waiting game. That was the hardest part for me, right? Because like I need to be actively doing something. Right? I don't want to just like be waiting and feel like I'm doing nothing. But then after that, like getting all the information back, it can be like a good and bad thing, right? Some schools like to send results out later, and some schools like to do it earlier. So if you hear like your friend saying, "Oh, I got in here," right? Like to me, it's like, oh, like, you know, you don't want to jump to conclusions or anything about like your situation. So you just want to remember to stay like calm and collected, and just like you just got to keep in mind that like whatever happens, it's gonna happen for a reason. Like you're gonna end up fine regardless of whatever happens, right? Like you're still alive, like things are still going great, like there's nothing to worry about. But you also have to remember, if what happens doesn't like meet up with your goals, or doesn't like it's not in line with like what you thought was gonna happen, don't worry about it. It's not like you failed or anything. It's just like a redirection. Instead of going straight, you're just gonna go slightly to the left or slightly to the right. Like no big deal at all.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead first.
Oh, okay. I wanted to, everything that Rahul said, and I want to emphasize what he mentioned about the waiting game, because that was the hardest part for me. There was like a 3 to 4 month period of, okay, your applications are in, what the hell do you do now, right? Everything's completely out of your control. It's in the admissions officer's hands. And I hated that, right? Like for a good chunk of your time, you're working on your applications, you have complete control over everything and everything to read, and then suddenly you don't. And that was really hard for me. Like I I poured over Reddit forums. I watched every YouTube video known to mankind. Like it was bad. It was really bad. So that was the hardest part for me. And in terms of final thoughts and words of wisdom, you're gonna be fine wherever you end up. I will say, I know that's probably falling on deaf ears right now. I know like you have your plans in mind and you have your pathway in mind and you have these schools that you're aiming for. But again, what Rahul said, rejections, redirection, like wherever you're gonna find a school and you're gonna fall in love with it and they're gonna fall in love with you and you're legitimately gonna be okay. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Wherever you end up, all of your hard work will definitely be worth it.
Okay, yeah. Hi, so my laptop actually died, so I just rejoined on my phone, but sorry for that. But I just want to finish my answer to the previous question. So yeah, like when it came down to like picking where I wanted to stay, I was like, oh, should I go like really far or should I stay here? And then I guess I just chose to stay here. And I guess I think I made the right choice because like, you know, it's really convenient. Like this quarter, I couldn't really go home because I had something that I had to do every Saturday over here. So like even last week, like my mom, she like came, she visited me. We went to like Target together. It was pretty fun. And yeah, like cause like just so like yeah, like cause like this quarter especially I was like pretty packed. Like I just didn't have that kind of time. But like, you know, so I think I made the right choice. Like so, you know, you don't always like you don't always consider what your parents have to say too. Don't like be like, oh, I'm only gonna do this because like this is what I want to do, you know? Like you know, also factor in what they think, but like, you know, also have your own stance too to it. And then the question after that, I would say like, yeah, after you applied everything, you know, it's like you kind of just like you just do whatever you want, you know, like you make sure you're like doing good in all your classes still. You get to have more fun. It's a little more relaxed, and then yeah, you just wait until the applications come out.
I'm on going. That's the.
All right, we are pretty much done with our questions that we had in our list. So let me add Prabhu uncle and myself into the pin. All right. Wow, that was awesome, and that was a great discussion. Let's quickly go through the questions in the chat box. Let me read, and probably I'll call out some names in the panel, and you can answer. All right. So. What are the pros and cons of doing the IB diploma program in high school? Shruti?
I actually didn't have an IB program in my high school. I figured out what an IB program was when I went to college. So I don't think I can give a really good answer for that question.
Okay, that's okay. Rahul or Laksh?
Yeah, for IB, we didn't have it at Cinemas High School, the one I went to, but one of the high schools right next to us, Charter Oak High School, they had it. And it's essentially like a contract or kind of like a different track path in addition to high school, right? You're going to be taking these rigorous classes your 4 years of high school, and you're going to take exams to like get credit in them. And I guess it's like an equivalent of AP, except it has a little more structure to it. You can't just like take whatever IB classes you want to take. But yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt to have it on your college application. But from everyone that I know that took it, the only thing I've heard of it is that it is very difficult. So there's that. Other than that, it's not really much I can add to that.
Okay, thanks, Rahul.
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't have that IV. I didn't have, is it IB? Or IV? I didn't have that program at my school. But yeah, I think the APs are pretty good too. You know, most schools have a wide variety that you could pick from. So just do the ones that line up best with your schedule and your career interests. And yeah.
All right, thank you. That was a question from Priya. Thank you. And there is another question from the tips on essay writing. I think that's something that we already covered in detail. And then the next question is from Videsh. How would you choose a college or courses to prepare for college? I think that's also something that we already covered. And Ajay is asked, what do colleges value on your application? I believe that's also something that we covered. And any tips for building a college application from Videsh? Yeah, that covered in detail. Other than GPA, Prabhu was asking, other than GPA, what are the other things colleges value? So it's like a well-rounded application or personality that you are, and that's what they mostly value. And I think they covered it in different segments of this session. And then Prisha was asking how ROP classes and IVC classes help towards college. Anyone?
Yeah, I can take that one.
Okay.
So the ROP classes, I actually did so the ROP, at least in CUSD, what it is, it's like an after school class. So it was pretty intensive actually. It was I think it only met one day. I took automotive tech my sophomore year. So our school had and that's one of the things that really got me into cars. So I think it was from Tuesdays from 4 to I want to say 8:50. It's a really long class. So what I do is that Tuesday, I get out of track and then I just go to that class, and then at night I come, I'd eat dinner, and then I'd start all my homework. But I mean, it was sophomore year. This was actually, I think this was 2019, or this started around 2020. So if the class got shut down around March or April or whenever all that stuff happened. But it was actually really I had a lot of fun in it. It taught me so many things that I had a lot of fun. I messed around with a lot of cool things. The ROP, yeah, if you have them, don't try to, there's no need to go out of your way. They only take it if you're seriously interested in what they're offering. Don't take it because I can add another class into my, don't do that. And then what's the other one? The community college classes. Those I also took quite a few. Those are also good because they transfer it as units to your college degree. So they might just be I don't think it'll be clearing any upper division requirements, or at most maybe you'll clear out a GE or two. I think I took 4, or I don't remember, but I took 3 or 4. I think I took a quarter Spanish. I took history of architecture. I definitely took something else, but I don't remember. But I think I did one. I tried to do one every summer, except 1 year I didn't do any. But you can always try to you can get an agreement. You always have to talk to your counselor will know all this stuff. They try to keep it a little hidden because they don't want the whole school trying to do this. So you kind of have to dig around a lot. It's a long process to get approved to take community college classes as a high school student. But once you get cleared for it, you get cleared to take a certain amount of units. So yeah, basically you just write down what class you want. You get cleared. It's free too. College students usually have to pay for I think it's the amount of units. So each unit will be a certain amount of dollars that you need to pay if it's summer. But if you're a high school student, there's some agreement where you can just take it for free. So I don't have to pay for anything. I just got, and then when you come to college, it'll help you because you'll be you might be able to graduate in 2 or 3 years, depending on how many you do, obviously.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Laksh. All right, so in the interest of time, let's have the questions really stand out, and I'm going to ask them, and also you can the interviewees you can be crisp on your answers. We are already around 15 minutes past the 7:30 mark, but I still see that the entire participants team is still there, and that's great. Let's move on to the next question. Is there any? There is another question from Dee. Is there anything similar to college experience that a high school student can do during the summer break?
Yes. A lot of these colleges that you're interested in will have a high school summer program. I know UCLA has a bunch. I didn't do any in high school, but if I had the opportunity to do this one, I would definitely do it. It's kind of you go to the campus for a little bit and you just do some type of educational program there. It's really beneficial and it gives you an insight on the college itself.
Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah, I know UCI has one for, I think, middle and high schoolers. One of my friends did it a long time ago, but I'm not sure what that exact program is. Pretty sure if you Google it, you can find it. Also, I had an opportunity to do a program at UC Berkeley, and when I was in high school for biology, but unfortunately that did get canceled because of the pandemic. Yeah, there are definitely programs. You just have to do a bit more research to that.
Thanks, Shruti.
Yeah, I would say the same. I don't have anything to add.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. And then there is another question from Ajay. What would earning an associate degree, for example, on the side during high school for your college application? I believe that's something that we spoke already. And then there is another question, do IB classes, more valuable candidate for college? I think that's something we already covered. Kids taking IB can reduce AP courses. So basically there were a bunch of questions, related to IB and AP. Yeah. There is an interesting question from Ragini. What happens if you don't do well on a AP test? Anyone?
Yeah, this is definitely like a real situation. A lot of people freak out about this. If you don't get the score that you think, or if you might have even failed an exam, you don't have to report it. If you want to report a score to a college, I know you can do it for free, like for like a period amount of time after you get your exam results back. But if you choose not to report it then, because if you did bad or you just like forget to, they're not going to send your score out. But then if you want to report it later on, like a good score that you got, you're going to have to pay separately to do that. So there's nothing to worry about. If you do bad, no one's going to know. If you do good, tell it to everyone, essentially.
Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah, and I wanted to add actually that the whole reason you're taking these exams is to get credit for it in college, so you don't have to repeat these courses in college. So yeah, you don't have to send in these bad scores, but that just means you're gonna have to retake that. Even if you do send in that bad score, like you're just gonna have to retake that course in college. So yeah, that's the only real consequence.
Yeah, I would say similar things like yeah, I mean like it depends on your like degree requirements too. Like over here at UCR, like I did really good on some of my science APs that I took, but I'm considered like CNS, which is like science major. So I need to retake all the gen chem classes, the general bio, the general physics. Like no matter how good I did on the APs, like I still need to retake them. So like, but then I also got credit for other APs like history, English, and like English. If you have English APs, I would recommend those because you can clear out. Like some of my friends need to take English for like a year or two, but I'm done with English. So yeah.
Thank you. And there is a question from Prisha. If I have good extracurricular activities, but I'm still not in any sports, will that look bad? No, the answer is no. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. Does any community service help for college application? I think those things we covered would, yeah. And another question from Prisha. Some people say having a part-time job adds more value. Is that true? Oh, yes. The general answer is yes.
Yeah, I had a part-time job in high school. I worked at Kumon for roughly 3 years. So I put that on my college application, and I'm sure it definitely added some value.
Yeah, I actually worked at Nachiappan. I'm pretty sure us brown people know what that is. I actually worked there in high school. So definitely it shows colleges that you know how to manage your time and you know how to deal with money. So yeah.
And there is a question related to, can we use tag during college or can you do it in high school?
Pretty sure it's only college, but don't quote me on that.
Okay. Yeah, that needs to be looked up in detail. And I think there are some questions about how does the Tamil school graduation and value to get admission. I think we discussed that. And how much is the application fee for applying to colleges? I think that's something that we need to look up. Every college is different. And
it's probably like 65 to 90, somewhere in between that.
Okay.
Also, you can get application fees waived if you don't meet a certain income requirement. So, but that's different for each college. So definitely do the research on that.
Yeah. And do South Asian applicants need a combo of both high GPA and very high SAT scores to overcome the challenges of less chance of admission, given we don't have affirmative action driven chances in state funded universities?
Yeah, this is a really interesting question, right? There's like
Yeah.
the whole thing about like meeting quotas and all that, and like even within like South Asian, like people getting in. All I can say about that is like don't think too much into it. That's more of like a governmental issue type of thing, but just make yourself like the best applicant that you can, right? And then if you get in, you get in because of you. You don't want to get in because of some weird quotas or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a loaded question. And I have some good news for you in that the UCs specifically don't take race into account. So because they're a public school and California has some laws about that, about affirmative action, UCs don't look at your race, period. So you're good in that sense. But yeah, it's a very loaded question and I don't think we have time for that. But again, it's out of your control. So just focus on being the best applicant you can be and don't worry too much about that.
Yeah. Thank you. And last few questions. Arjun is asking, how should you utilize the summer after sophomore year in high school other than SAT prep, like kind of extracurriculars? Anything to add apart from what we discussed earlier?
Yeah, if you have summer school available at your high school, go ahead and do it. Just get some like requirements out of the way, like high school graduation requirements. It also just adds to the overall amount of credits you've done in high school. So more credits is usually a good thing. But I also know like in the South Asian communities, right? Like summer is generally when we all go to India to see our other families. So if you either want to stay and do summer school, you're probably going to have to skip going to India. So like I know in our family, when we went to India was the summer before I went to high school. And then we went the summer I graduated after high school. So we didn't go for 4 years. And I'm pretty sure it'll be the same with my younger brother as well.
Thank you. One question from Kavya. As an assumption, what do you believe played a large factor in your college acceptance? Factors such as essays, stats, extracurricular school activities. I think that's something that we already covered. It's kind of, the answer is everything played to some extent in various factors, right? So yeah. And then there is a final question from Videsh. How much do colleges really value IB/AP classes, IB/AP classes?
I would say they value it a lot, you know, like they're not going to take a kid with the 4 point, like a perfect GPA that just like didn't do, and that didn't even challenge himself, you know? So like, you're going to want to challenge yourself, obviously, you know, just take as many as you can, but don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, that's all the questions that we got from the chat box. Anyone, Prabhu, do you have any other questions to the students panel or any other parents or anyone else before we move on to the final section to wrap it up with the vote of thanks?
Oh, this is overall an informative session. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences.
Thank you. Thanks, Prabhu. Any other parents to give any feedback? Like maybe we can take 1 or 2 minutes feedback or any other comments about this session?
Yeah, this is Mohan. I'll take 30 seconds. This is terrific session, Saranan and Prabhu for hosting this. And this shows the eagerness and enthusiasm among our high school students. And this is terrific information, all these college kids they shared. And I would say as a parent, I know Rahul, I'm Rahul's dad. He's the one he was saying about the essay that, yeah, parents are obviously anxious, but to the high school students, like this kid said, just do your best and please do more APs and IBs. Schools do consider them. So that way it's going to really help you out. And that's all I want to say. Terrific session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan. Thanks for your words. Any other parent? Kotlango, are you there? You want to say something? Maybe we can take like 1 or 2 parents to share some of their comments and or Raji or Hari.
Hi, everyone. It was a great session, actually. So I know Laksh went to college last year, still like I'm learning a lot more new things. And then there was a podcast that was shared in the group. And I learned that like regarding the race and then the gender, they don't know, the people who read the essays, they don't know anything about that. Unless you specifically mentioned something in the essay about I'm a South Asian family or I'm this gender or things like that. So I wouldn't mention all those things when you write the essay. So keep in mind to really like navigate those things when you write the essay. And I learned a lot more about Laksh today, so which was really a win for me. Thank you so much for having the session. And then I really enjoyed a lot. It's a lot, the things are really helpful. And I have another son who is in 8th grade. So it's all like really good information. Thank you.
Thank you, Raji. Let me see if I can spot anyone who can give some comment. We have a group of students now. Hasini, Harini, and Harita. Any comments? I'm sure you would have. Okay, if you're muted, that's fine. All right, let's conclude it. Let me just briefly go over thanking few people. And it's really a wonderful topic, and it's like a moving target, right? So we keep seeing changes in the college applications year on year. It's not just in US, it's all over the world, and that's how it should be. That's how we evolve. The education system will evolve, and there is no surprise to that. So stay tuned and keep keep this kind of conversations. And this is a major step forward in their life. So this is an important topic to be discussed. And I really honestly thank the interviewers, the students, and the interviewee students. It's well-driven and very honest and open discussion. Thank you, the entire panel. I think Raji mentioned it when she gave her comments. The truth is, even their family members, the 6 students here in this panel, their family members, it's not possible to have a conversation with them for 1.5 hours. I bet it's really not possible to have this kind of 1.5 hours or 2 hours in a blocked conversation with them. Not even their parents, but the students came forward to speak to us, to the community, and that's a great thing here. And one theme that we could sense here is from all the discussion, just follow the passion, right? So don't do anything just because someone else is doing. Make sure you love what you're doing, right? And there is a lot of information shared here, and please take more time to ingress and understand. And don't, as I mentioned earlier, don't take this as a prescriptive solution to what you're looking for, and take time to understand and do more research on your side. And some topic what we understood here is some topic definitely require more deep dive discussions, like the scholarships and grants and transfers and all that. We'll plan something into the future. And a small story or analogy people would have said in your home, like most of your parents, they would have told the same story, right? In families, our tradition is to encourage conversation between brothers and sisters, right? And when I was in high school, was trying to crack college admissions, I ran into my brothers and sisters and asked, hey, what to do? I'm in my high school and I don't know what to do. Then I had this kind of discussions when I was in college, and most of your parents would have told the same thing to you when they were in college, and how did they get into a college in India or in any other place, right? And this session is a classic example of having brothers and sisters, how they can discuss in a very, very constructive manner to bring in more valuable information and insights to the community. And when we wanted to conduct this session, similar to when I was doing my high school, I ran into my brothers and sisters. And when we were planning to this session, we ran into our brothers and sisters, like Shruthi's dad, Rahul's dad, and Mahathi's dad, Laksh's dad, Vishaalaksh's dad, and Chinmay's dad, and Mohan. So they helped us, right? So it's another great moment here is for style as a program. The entire panel is one or other way related to style and associated with style as a community who came forward to share their perspective to the next generation of students. And I would like to thank Shruthi in UC-Irvine. I think when she spoke about, she gave her perspective. That's what at one point she mentioned. She's the only child, and never worry about it. You have about 40 plus siblings. You got this in this meeting, right? And who are like sisters and brothers who look forward to your perspective, right? So I would like to really thank you, Shruthi, Leon, for taking your time and sharing your perspective to us. And I would also like to thank Mr. Kotalango Leon, who is the Young Translator team's head, who said, okay, yeah, Shruti is happy to share this, and thanks for doing this. And also Mr. Kotalango told me that Mr. Hari Ranganathan, who is we call him as Young Translators CTO, who did a similar session a couple of years ago with students in Young Translators and LA Labs. And thanks, Hari, for the inspiration. And the next one is I would like to call upon a great thanks for Mr. Mohan, who gave some comments here after the conversation with the students. Rahul's dad, who said, and who is from BTK, the Bria Tamil Kalvi, and also a great supporter for the style program. And thank you so much, Mohan, for joining us and getting Rahul's time for us. I know something that you can get, we got, like Rahul's time. Thank you so much. And the next one is Mr. Raji Athappan, who was the principal of Irvine Tamil School, and now also a style program supporter. And Lakshman is not new to style. Lakshman, he gave a session a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, in style about a science fair, and that was an interesting session, and we got a lot of interesting questions in that session, and that was a great session. Lakshman, thanks for joining us today. And then I should mention the student executive board members here, the style board members here, who are our go-getters, or rock stars in style. Ms. Vishali Nachiappan, and thanks Vishali for your time, and thanks Chinmay for your time. And I would like to thank Nachi, the past president of SoCal Tamil organization, to help this session to get Vishali here. And also would like to thank Ms. Vidya Swami for getting rock stars like Chinmay to this session. And that was a great flow. We had a wonderful flow in the set of questions that you guys asked, and thank you so much. And also Mahathi, that was a wonderful addition to this team. I must really thank you, Mahathi, and who is also a style volunteer, lead volunteer in BTK. And thanks, Prabhu, for a wonderful welcome address, and thanks, and also for prepping Mahathi and the students, and who. And also being the moderator of the session, and that was wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you all the parents and the students who joined today. And this is one of the successful sessions with close to 50 plus participants. And thank you the entire style community and the SoCal Tamil organization for allowing us to have this kind of great sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you so much.